doing, Rhodes? Happy
I
Wednesday.
am doing good. Happy FOMC day.
Right? Crazy day. 50 basis points over 25. It seems like people knew.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The poly market wasn't lying when it adjusted for factors there. So clearly there was enough information out there that I think caught us a bit off guard. A little contrary to what Jerome Powell kind of was portraying all the way along to go that aggressive, but I do believe there's maybe some additional pressures. I think I heard that Janet Yellen was looking for 75 basis points, right? So, there was probably some pressures on there to push him beyond the 25 basis points. So overall, pretty crazy. I mean, the market doesn't know how to take it. At least, crypto market spiked and then back down on the day. I'm not sure I haven't taken a look at the overall markets. What's your take?
Yeah, I should have just taken the Fed watch stuff as reality. I'll show it right now. This is the Fed watch tool. It's usually like traders, institutions that can bet on the interest rates.
Yeah.
You can see down here, first week of August, they were expecting 50 points, 50 basis points. It shot up to 25 at the last couple weeks of August, and then it's September 11th. It was like almost 90%, 25 basis points, and just continued to drop. So something happened between Wednesday last week and this Wednesday that just caused it to. I think it was a game time decision by the Fed to go from 25 to 50. That's my read on it right now, and they're sticking with it. The markets are Bitcoin's kind of down. It spiked and then now it's like even from yesterday, relatively. Yeah. So I'm not sure how the market takes it. How you doing, Bren?
S&P down as well.
Yeah, so good. I'm just sitting at my laptop right now, but I think we're live. By the way,
we are.
Sorry?
Okay, good.
We are live.
Sure we are live, so you can't say anything crazy.
No, I'm just making sure you guys know because you just posted it in the Discord.
Yeah, so market's reacting kind of negatively to the 50 basis points. I think probably underlies a little bit more weakness in the economy, right? And so it should be good longer term for risk on assets as rates come down. So I think that part should be good for Bitcoin in kind of the near to midterm. So yeah, Bren, what's your take on the?
I'm actually surprised.
Go ahead, thanks.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Gordon. I'm actually sitting at my laptop, so I'll say something in a second. But what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was like looking at this Fed watch chart. It seems like they're quite agile. I know myself was predicting that Powell and the team are more leaning towards no surprises, especially on how they did it. And I don't know, pretty surprising 50 basis points, maybe just for me. Other people might have different opinions, but it seems like they're really starting off with a bang here.
Totally.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I didn't really check the odds today, but I know up a few days ago on Poly Markets it was like 50-50. So I didn't really have any strong opinion going into it either way. Not really surprised on the result. That's usually how these things go. Just whipsaws, in both directions. I thought there was a higher chance this time that there would be a directional move because there is so much uncertainty. But again, not really surprised that we just got whipsawing. That's usually what happens after these releases. But as far as what the implications of it, yeah, history would tell us usually the rate cuts for risk assets, especially going into like some type of recession, usually leads to another leg down in risk assets. But as we've seen the last 2 years, there's been so many. This time is different, type of thing. So who knows what's going to happen? I think it's going to be come down to if unemployment spikes and like we do get some type of major recession, then obviously we probably do get a major top. But I think in the meantime, I think in Q1 and or even sooner, we probably get another leg up in crypto in the meantime.
What do you think about this S&P chart at this point? The triple top around that like 564 to like 565, 566.
Here, let me look. I'm trying to pull up the StreamYard on my Telegram, but it's not opening my message in Telegram. Something's wrong with my Telegram. But S&P 500. Let's see here. Yeah, so I mean, anytime you're at a major high like this of a few weeks, we're always at danger of topping out here and either forming a major top or some type of bigger corrective consolidation near 5,100. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens to end the week. If we get a strong move down that takes us back down into the low 55s or like below 55, then there's probably a good chance we move lower. But again, there's always a chance that we wake up tomorrow and it gaps higher. So kind of have to see how we react around these highs. For Bitcoin, everything else, I'm sure we're gonna go over that in a second. But yeah, for now, like I said, for the S&P 500, to answer your question, yeah, we got to watch how it reacts around this multiple. What is this 3-week high? So
yeah, I mean it's the same point as like mid-July as well. So we just can't seem to break past this one level, this all-time high level.
yeah, I mean, we did have a big run up the last few months. So let's see. Okay, finally pulling it up on the. Okay, I'm gonna come in on the laptop right now.
Welcome back. Also, how you doing, for Loco?
Hey,
Hey guys.
What's up, brother?
Hey Bren. Hey Rhodes.
Hey,
Happy post Fed meeting, huh? What do
We're still
how are
here.
we feeling?
We're yeah, I mean, good, right? Not to go whipsaw like most of these things come out. I thought there would be a bigger chance we would get some kind of directional move because of all the uncertainty, but yeah, not much of a reaction.
What was the sentiment on Powell's kind of conversation there? Was it pretty?
To be honest, I was at the gym when it was happening, and then I
Mhm.
got on another VC like call like this right before this, so I haven't really gotten
Here.
a chance to listen to it.
I got it for you guys. I got it for you.
Okay,
So
perfect.
the Fed believes that the economy is strong overall. That's what his comments were. And then he says that there's growing confidence that there's also strength in the labor market and that can be maintained. Consumer spending has remained resilient. Like, of course, it has remained resilient. Everything is like 10% more expensive. So even if there's less people buying, everyone's buying at 5% higher prices. Interesting. Inflation has eased up, but it remains above the 2% target. The labor market is now less tight than before the pandemic. And then the last point is the Fed is moving to a neutral stance, but it does has not any preset course yet. Although people are speculating that we will see 50 BPS of course today, perhaps another 25 to 50 BPS towards the end of the year, and then we could see up to 100 points in 2025. So we'll see.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for breaking that down. Yeah. I guess that's why we didn't get too much of a reaction. Because he
Yeah,
didn't
I
say
saw the
He
TLT was
was
selling off a little bit. The bond market
the
was selling
bonds.
off. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to pull up the chat here so I can look at it. The last few streams, I wasn't looking at it, but
Here, I'll send the chat over in this.
yeah, please do.
I'll send over Telegram actually.
Cool.
But what's interesting though is like you have 50 BPS cut, which was expected, I guess, per the latest polls, right? I think it was 50 or 60%
Yeah.
chances that was
Yeah, we
going to
were
happen. But
talking about that before. It moved from almost to 90%, 25, 25 basis points
yeah,
a week ago to 65%, 50 basis points, like in over
yeah.
a week. So
Which is
something
interesting,
happened.
right? Because, if everyone was expecting a 50 BPS, then that's why the market is flat, right? And well, flat to a little bit slightly down. But then you're also seeing, um, you know, that just being 50 BPS, when he mentions that the economy is strong, then why would you cut 50 versus
Yeah, that's
25?
exactly my thoughts. Like it's very contradictory in the fact that like, yeah, the economy's fine, the job markets are good, everything's great. We're spending as much, but we're going to do a 50 or 8 point cut, which is like, zero for all this time and then come in aggressive with a 50. But the only thing I can
Yeah.
think of beyond that is, if there is any truth to what he's saying is that he's gotten additional pressure to go more than 25 by outside forces. That's the only thing that would provide any kind of reasoning
Mhm.
other than the fact that what he's saying is a lie and trying to soften how much the economy might be performing under what he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
I'm actually surprised he's incorporating outside forces so much. Before he was just like doing his thing, like not even incorporating it. Maybe, I mean, it seems very reactive to me.
Yeah, yeah, we should have done 25 last time in August. Unless he was looking for any kind of specific point before he was going to do the cut, but it's just, yeah, it is kind of reactive. That's why it seems a little odd on that, but fortunately, the market was able to adjust prior, because I think a lot of the side was thinking 50 as much as there was the 25 in there. So
Yeah, I mean, maybe this ends up working out in our favor because usually the Fed's, I mean, historically from what I read, like slow to act, like slow to raise rates, slow to all that. So maybe, I mean, this might work out. They might be doing differently than they historically do, and maybe we do avoid some type of major stuff, major recession or whatever because of that. But who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're always talking about the soft landing situation. What would that look like in reality for us now?
Yeah. I mean, I've heard some people think we already gotten a soft landing, and that the recession's like we probably get a small recession anyway, but we probably avoided like really a hard landing already. But I don't know. We'll see, man. All this stuff is just so much uncertainty. If you study like the major crashes in 2008 and 2000 and stuff like that, you have plenty of people telling you that it wasn't going to happen. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen now, but I'm just saying around these times there's so much uncertainty. Who knows what's going to happen? I think the charts are telling us and everything else that even in the short term, though, at least to me, I think we're going to get another leg up in risk assets before this stuff does matter. And then, I mean, best case, we just get a complete soft landing where we get, very minimal recession, if any. But
Yeah, I remember I saw some comments from Elizabeth Warren asking for 75-point cut. And I was like, okay.
I
there's
saw
there's
that
definitely
too.
a lot of pressure
yeah,
from big guys, big corporations, and the big guys are like, yeah, don't let this fall on your ass, So
Yeah, for sure. That was crazy. She always does extreme stuff like that. I feel like that's like definitely not going to happen. Um,
have you guys been trading? I know Nvidia is a little bit down. Have you guys been trading any stocks? Tesla is it's not bad. It's a little bit down today, but still above 225. I think it's 227 right now. I was mostly looking at Nvidia as obviously it is it really moves the S&P with it, right? So it's down about, I think it's 2%. Apple surprisingly has some sort of like rebound. Do you guys know what it is about? Is it about the iPhone, or is there anything specific going on with Apple?
I didn't know. I didn't check.
Hmm.
Let's see.
I thought their phone sales were declining. That's what I read like last week or this week. Something over the weekend. Something about lowering phone sales. So I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I think some of the general impression on this batch of phones as well is going to come in pretty soft, pretty weak. Seems more software focused, which isn't necessarily going to sell phones. So
Yeah. And the VIX is up 5%, which was expected for sure to see some volatility. But other than that, I mean, even if we pivot to crypto, there's really not much going on. I mean, price is pretty flat. Solana is battling that 128, 129, and Bitcoin right under 60,000. So I don't know. Let's see what happens the rest of the day and the rest of the week. But I guess the markets are still pretty liquid. It looks like, right? Um, from that perspective, you would think that this news would move the markets way more. I mean, we haven't seen rate cuts since 2020, 2021, 2020, right? It's been a while.
yeah,
So
Yeah, I think it's pretty bullish though. It's like no reaction. Because if we can get through a few of these rate cuts where like the market maybe gets hit a tiny bit or whatever, or we just go sideways like this, the closer we can get back down to like those low interest rates without something potentially like breaking, right? So like I think a positive reaction would have been the most bullish, obviously, but like no reaction's like pretty bullish for now. Obviously, things can change quickly if like unemployment were to spike or whatever. But I think it's definitely not a bad thing that we didn't get any reaction today. I think, like I said, as many of these rate cuts we can get through without the market getting destroyed is bullish.
yeah, yeah. Not much going on the macro side of things. See if I have some headlines here. Obviously, this was pre FOMC meeting. But it looks like JP Morgan might take over Apple car business, which could be interesting. Japan exports are slow, which is pretty much not good for the yen and the Japanese economy. And they might slow rate hikes, which I think they were hiking super, super like, slightly so that people don't freak out after the yen carry trade for so long.
Yeah.
Then I think we had BlackRock and other entities buy a ton of Bitcoin in the last couple of days, which was very, very bullish, positive for the industry. And then we just have a bunch of other headlines that are not really interesting. Oh, well, I guess this one is someone that Didi was arrested. I don't know if that's a macro new, but it's
Wait,
something that
who?
appears here. Puff
Yeah,
Daddy,
like
Didi.
thousands of bottles of baby oil or something.
Oh, Diddy. Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah, no, that's insane. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff they
Yeah.
said he did. It's insane.
Did you guys listen to the Donald Trump World Financial Coin
Yeah, for a
space?
second.
Yes. That's like an interview with Farag and those
What
guys.
do you guys
Hmm.
think? What's your take?
I think he
Uh,
just wants to sell more products. Sell
Oh,
more.
for sure.
yeah. If you look into it, it's the platform itself is like you can find the same DeFi platform in Doe Finance. It's like the same thing
Yeah.
in other places. As far as the platform itself, I mean, really, the only reason you use it is to like you're trying to support Trump. There's nothing like
Mhm.
proprietary as far as the platform itself. From what I've looked into, as far as the token, it's like accredited investors only, and it's going to be non-transferable for a second. So I think it's just gonna be a nothing burger, to be honest. I mean, at least at first.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I wouldn't expect it, especially after the election. I just wouldn't. I don't think there's really anything interesting about it after the election that
Hmm.
keeps it
They're
going
just gonna
crazy. I
like
don't think there's enough
do a
MAGA people in
pre-sale and then
DeFi to
like
like be
slowly not
relevant.
build anything.
What?
They're gonna like do a pre-sale, get all the money, and then like slowly roll out
Yeah,
some products if that
it's a
if
cash
they
grab. Whether other people make money on the coin or not, it's ultimately like it's gonna be a slow bleed of the team and stuff's gonna make a bunch of money either way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
That's my personal take. I mean, does anybody else like see anything bullish about it that they that they like?
Apparently,
about
Bren has 4 wallets. So
in the
Yeah,
chat, you
it is a
mean?
lot more than that,
Yeah.
huh?
During the conversation and the interview, you mean that I heard from Trump or from that specific
Just about the.
organization?
I mean,
Yeah.
what's your take on the World Liberty thing?
To be honest, I haven't really looked into it much.
Yeah,
I was just really paying attention to what Trump said on the questions that Farag was asking about crypto, and the guy really just doesn't know anything about crypto. But
yeah,
hey, as long as he's he's kind of like riding the wave and supporting us more than the current administration, that's fine. It's just crazy to see that the amount of you know people, especially in power, that have no idea what crypto is and what it does.
yeah. Did you
You
see that
know.
guy bought the Trump.eth and he was
Oh
trying to
yeah, for
burn. He was
47
trying to
ETH.
burn it, and he realized he couldn't. So he's like, "Oh, I'll give it to the Trumps." I think he bought it to burn it because he's like, from what I understanding, tell me if I'm wrong, but like he's buying it because he's to burn it as like a statement.
Oh,
But
okay.
then somebody convinced him. He said to give it to Trump, which is crazy turnaround. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think Eric Trump or something said he would interested in getting it or whatever. But yeah, like Donald Trump's gonna know what a .eth address is, but
if they burn it, can you not get back the ENS?
I don't know. He was saying I think it was impossible for them to burn or something. I don't know, but and so she decided to give it to him instead.
Hmm.
Maybe I read that wrong. I don't know.
We gotta bring back the ENS market. That's the real thing. But Ethereum, was there a Sol version? That's
Yeah,
the
there's
real.
.sols. There's like dot everything. ENS does .sols, .bitcoin,
Hmm.
dot all
Seems
that.
like the Sol people doesn't want their wallets to be tracked with names like that, though.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I think when more people have crypto wallets, I think it just makes sense to have those ENS domains. It just makes it way easier instead of posting a or whatever. Especially because Venmo and stuff is implementing it now, and PayPal and all that, where you can send to ENS addresses. We're just
Yeah.
early.
Yeah.
Right.
We have a ton of conference this week, and with Token 2049, I think we'll see more activity to next week. I think a lot of people, traders, retail, investors, everyone is kind of like in the conferences, whether it's Token 2049 or Breakpoint and Solana. I think those are going to definitely bring some activity back on chain, but it just feels like there's even more divergence and separation in between Bitcoin and any other crypto asset, right? Like, because obviously we know that Ethereum should have some sort of like activity with the ETF, although we haven't really seen much aside from grayscale selling. But then any other altcoin, you would really think that it would move a little bit more, but it's just again, Bitcoin is being completely like institutionalized, right? Just bought by the big institutions, the whales, and then you're seeing a bunch of like divergence in between what it does and what the other alts do, right? Normally, when Bitcoin goes up, alts go up, but in this case, it just feels like two completely different monsters. Almost like Bitcoin is not a cryptocurrency anymore, right? This feels completely different. So
Yeah, we've seen in the past though before too, where Bitcoin's like strong for longer periods of time, like this. But yeah, I mean, I think it all was, I think the institutional thing makes sense.
mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it's been interesting to see Bitcoin kind of chop up, while everything else is kind of still been chopping down and sideways. I'm sure we're
Mhm.
going to go into that, but I do think because of the other two, Sol and ETH, looking like they really haven't broken to the upside yet, I do think Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol are going to move up in the near future in the next few weeks. Bitcoin's not moving as I would like it to see it move. If it was like an impulsive move that's going to take us back to all-time highs, it's been pretty slow and choppy to the upside. I mean, we've already been moving up here for 12 days. Usually these big impulses that take us back to new all-time highs are pretty strong and impulsive in nature.
Mhm.
Of course, that could change if and when the other two pick up or whatever happens. Um, but hold on. But yeah, so I do think it could change. So far, it's not what I'd like to see. Um, But yeah, I do think that could pick up at any time. But as you can see from like the last two moves in April and July that we got from Bitcoin, they were pretty choppy to the upside, not very quick. It's kind of what we're getting so far. But in the next few weeks, I do think there's a chance that we do start moving up very strong impulsively. But we just got to see if we break 72K again, or if it's going to be just a higher low that takes us down one more time.
Yeah. Well, Bitcoin dominance keeps rising, right? I don't know what the last number was, but I think
Just over
even towards
58.
right, okay. Even towards the end of the year, I think we're just gonna keep seeing Bitcoin outperform. And I spoke with a bunch of traders I follow and respect, and I've seen them kind of like move, kind of like balance out their portfolio towards more of a Bitcoin heavy position versus before the summer, right? Because normally you would think that after halving, what you do is you kind of like move your Bitcoin, with you got right, you just move your Bitcoin position a little bit more or outweigh it towards altcoins. But in this case, we've had such a such a terrible price action from altcoins right over the summer that people are like maybe we just hold Bitcoin at least for the short term until we get new highs and then move some of that to other riskier assets. It's just been a super long summer chop, and then very very kind of like muted price action after halving, which is not normally what we see on other cycles. I mean, we can see a little bit of a summer chop, but that long, it just feels like at this point, you would definitely see more activity from the altcoin sector, but we haven't really seen anything at all. So
Yeah,
aside from
I think this
volatility.
time, I think it's possible we're just moving into a new era where just the cycles are just completely different.
Especially with the institutional and ETFs
Exactly.
involved
Yeah.
in it. Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's just something I've been touching on in our channel a bit lately is that is a really good chance that I think the 4-year cycle's cooked anyway because we got the all-time high at before the halving. I think I saw this tweet by this guy and he broke it down well that he still thinks that we're like following the 4-year cycle and stuff and whatever. And that we will go up this year, which I do agree with him on that. But I mean, we've already seen that we're getting twice. This is the second time. First time around this time last year, we got a 6-month correction. From whatever April to October or to whatever. And then that's what we're seeing again this year. That's completely unlike past cycles where we got pretty much up only with small, 1 or 2 week corrections in between, maybe. So I think it's possible that, if we avoid a major recession that doesn't completely wreck the risk assets, that we are moving into a new era where we kind of, have big moves up and then 6-month, 8-month corrections, big moves up, kind of how the stock market has been since, 2014 or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, so we switch to crypto and other interesting news. Aside from obviously the conferences, any interesting updates you guys are looking at, whether it's like L1s or any other applications coming up with interesting things here after the summer?
For me,
Uniswap just unlocked 25% of their tokens. Like
who did? What did?
Uniswap today or yesterday, I think.
Really? From like way back?
No, from like their token issue, like their unlock period.
Yeah, from the token in 2020.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow.
But hasn't really affected their price recently.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of those people are like core founders and shit where like they might take a little off the top, but they're probably incentivized to like they're probably holding that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think Uni will probably, I think a lot of these other older coins, especially DeFi stuff, if and when BlackRock starts making like comes out with developments in DeFi, I feel like that narrative's going to heat up. So something like, Uni, Aave, all that will do well. But to answer your question for Loco, for me, besides accumulating, proven memes that are in good corrections right now, because I do think that's where a lot of the attention still is going to be at. I've been focusing a lot more on gaming and getting into stuff like that, like we've been talking about. Try to get into some communities where I can learn as much and connect with good people in that space, stuff like that. But again, just a lot of these corrective periods are just a waiting game, and just making sure to stay involved, pay attention, all that. Not get rusty, whatever. But just a lot of there's just a waiting game in these periods. It's less is more. A lot of times I've found during these periods.
Yeah, before we look into that chart, which is insane, is that because of the
Yeah.
Binance listing? That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, this is the one Nero we're gonna list. And
Rug the other one, right?
dude, it
Yeah.
was like 20 million when they listed it or something, and then it just like 10x, 20x.
That's insane. Well, I missed it. Do you guys had any positions on it on this one?
Not on this one. No.
We were talking about on Monday around like, I think it was like here.
Oh, on Monday already moved that much?
Yeah, it was like Monday
moved that
morning or
much.
Sunday night they announced.
Hmm.
And we were talking about on Monday around like 120, 150 million.
Interesting.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
No, I've been honestly pretty inactive on the meme coin side of things lately, but I was looking at some activity on L1s. Sui, everyone keeps telling me Sui, but I just look at the tokenomics and it just looks scary. It's just like they have massive unlocks coming up, and as much as I think it's probably what they would say the Solana killer for F1s, I just don't like the tokenomics at all. So it's hard for me to justify getting in. I know that probably would go higher, but it's one of those things
What
that
don't you like about the tokenomics specifically?
there's massive unlocks coming up,
Okay.
and as long as I see you know bigger demand than the schedule for unlocks, I just don't know how is it gonna price wise, how is it going to catch up to so many unlocks, right? Because there's a ton of people that were trapped investors that might want to dump some in the market and buy something else. Right? And the problem with these chains is that I really want to look at the on-chain activity, because I know some of them are reporting numbers of active users, et cetera, but dude, we live and breathe crypto, and I don't really see anyone using Sui. Maybe are some developers. Who is using Sui, right? I just want to know those things, because I know Solana is used by most people. I'm around, right, from a user retail perspective, but I don't know who's using Sui and all these new L1s, whether it's Injective, Celestia, so all these ones, right? Say who is using these chains? I don't know, so it's just how are you gonna get mainstream adoption when there's so many L1 options for you to buy and invest in, right? So I don't know,
Yeah.
it's hard for
I
me
think
to
that's why it's
justify.
gonna be mostly winner take all, and then like for like ETH, Sol, and a few others, and then the rest, the few other percent will be shared among like other L1s, app chains, and stuff like that. For that reason.
Mhm.
But I mean, yeah, we just haven't seen anything. I mean, if billions of people are going to be using crypto or blockchain or whatever, and DeFi is going to be all none of that stuff. We haven't seen. We're so early as far as the technology goes. If
Yeah.
any of that's going to happen, so who knows? Maybe Sui, they have a really good team and they make a good partnership with whatever corporation, and I think that kind of thing is going to start to happen.
That's their thesis, isn't it?
I have no idea. I'm just guessing. Is that really it? I don't know.
They
I know
have
Bits
some
and Labs.
ex-Facebook Meta kind of developers, et cetera, behind that on their team,
Okay.
and that's kind of the promise, is that they're basically the faster, better, cheaper Solana with a really strong team behind them, and that's what's kind of propelling them. But I mean, there's only so much use cases for everything with all the chains that are out there. So it's definitely outperformed, and it's done really well. And it still has room to move too. So there is some appeal to those parts, and I don't know how much are looking directly at the tokenomics per se versus price go up.
Yeah, I just did think that Solana is gonna be the number one L1 for retail. From my perspective, they already have so much so much traction and so many people building on it, and I think there's going to be a bunch of very cool updates coming up here. So I don't see Sui taking or overtaking Solana anytime soon.
User
forward at
adoption is
all.
key, right? And people like to stay where they're comfortable.
Right, and think about it from our perspective. Yeah, it's faster, cheaper, okay, a little bit, but from a perspective of someone that joins crypto, do you think they give they give a crap about a chain that is a little bit slightly faster and slightly cheaper. I don't think they care. It's like we're not talking about like Ethereum L1 versus Solana. This is like minimal, changes that I don't think any retail user will even care about. This is more from a developer standpoint, right? So we'll see. I also saw Phantom running. Can you pull up the Phantom chart, FTM? Uh, do you guys know what happened with Is there any news with the L1 or what's going on there?
It looks like the
Good idea.
Sui L1.
Yeah.
Or it looks like the Sui chart. I don't even know if I changed.
Yeah,
charts.
is that the same chart? Are you sure?
It's
Then moving
very
together?
similar.
Just push the back
Right?
button. It's gonna be like the same. Oh, you
No.
don't have.
There's a little spike
Here, watch,
just before
I'll change
on
it from
Phantom,
here.
but
I mean, most alts look like that, right? They went down 75.
It's the same chart. Sui's just a little bit high, like ahead.
Wait, you gotta do one of these.
That's
Oh my
crazy.
God.
Yeah, I don't know. What's the news on Phantom?
it looks like Sui. That's the
Yeah.
news.
Wait, Phantom's an L1 too as well, right? Or,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, maybe
And I think it's a previous cycle. Like Sue is new, but Phantom I think is a previous cycle token.
Sui came out when, like 2022 or something.
Yeah.
Remember they had that big airdrop or whatever, right?
Late or mid 2023,
Okay.
apparently.
Really? Wow. It's only been a year or like a year and 3 months, year and a half. That's crazy.
This is like slightly older, like a year older, year and a half.
Yeah. It came out like the top of the bull market in 2021 or right after.
Yeah. I don't know. There might be some tech updates from the back, but I really the fact that I haven't heard anything about it means that people in my circle I have no idea what's going on. So maybe just trading the price action. I think it obviously has some good momentum, but how long can it go for? So we'll see.
What do you guys think about Ton? I think Ton and Sui are probably the highest. I think a lot of venture investment have gone into these two in the
I
recent
like
years.
Ton more because it's just more exciting. It makes more sense. It's like
Yeah.
it's belongs to an app that people actually use, millions of people every day. And I mean, whether the experiment or whatever like works, I like the idea of like a app chains. I think more apps are gonna make L2s or like even L3s or whatever on Optimism or connected to base or whatever. But
Mhm.
they're kind of an L1, which is different. But either way, I love what they're doing. I think it's super cool, and it like works underneath the hood of like the app, where like you can actually own a tokenized version of your Telegram name. Which with Telegram being so big is like a status symbol. It's like an NFT, but like probably like way more like way bigger than any of these PFP project type things where you can literally buy and sell big names on Telegram, stuff like that. Obviously the coin you pay ads, and you get paid for when people you put up ads in your channel in ton stuff like that. I think it's super cool and like they're a pioneer, and I wouldn't be
Mhm.
surprised that the guy Pavel seems to be like super likes to try new things and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if when the whole crypto bull market picks up that ton the coin does well and just like the chain itself because people are already using the app. So I think it makes sense.
Yeah, and they just partner with Curve, right? The Curve, the token as
Did
well
they?
for a stable coin swap or
CRV?
something like that. Yeah, that's right.
Hell yeah. For what? Like
Yeah, for a stable coin swap, I think it is improving the
okay.
user experience by minimizing price impact during trades. That's what
Nice,
it
nice,
says.
nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I mean Telegram is just like I think it's gonna continue to blow up with people wanting to learn stuff with sports betting, all that. I think like Telegram's gonna continue to gain popularity
yeah,
over Discord and stuff.
I agree. I know. We'll see. I know
Hopefully.
there were some concerns back in the day that it was too manipulated, like press action was, from certain whales in Asia. But I really don't know what to tell you. I haven't really looked much at the tokenomics of Ton. But I definitely think that if there's an L1 that can be successful on a global perspective, Ton is one of them, right? I think Solana, Ton, right there, because they just have the users, and it's very, very easy for them to integrate them into the blockchain, almost like seamless. So we'll see. Yeah.
Yep.
So we switch over to other interesting things in crypto. Rhodes, are you seeing anything interesting happening on NFTs, or what's going on over there?
Sorry, my light just went out. No, I mean it's a lot of the kind of news and successes kind of occurred over the last week or so with Azuki and their anime.com and Doodles
DeGods.
with their rollout. DeGods going full crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of those activations. It was a busy week in the last week and a half. Markets are kind of a little bit flat, slightly up on Azuki and Doodles, but just a real wave of interest and news across NFTs. Promising. I think it's slow momentum, but it is momentum. I think the quietness in what we're seeing with meme coins is helping NFTs as well. So overall, it's quite positive. Dookie Dash has teased here recently, and I think that's going to be a nice little bit of fun and relief through the
Are they launching
ecosystem.
Dookie Dash during the Ape Fest here in October, or when are they launching it? I know there's $1 million dollar prize money, on the competition.
Yeah, I would hope they would almost launch it beforehand and almost close the competition right at 8 Fest, but I'm not sure what the timeline is on when Dookie Dash is expected. But yeah, how's the DGOD doing there? It's down a
I
fair
want to
bit.
hear Bren's thoughts on this as well, because I mean,
Yeah,
have you traded this at all, Bren, or not?
DGod, I was
Yeah.
thinking about buying it like a little bit after it came out. It was like correcting a little bit, but I'm glad I didn't. I think it ran a little bit after I was thinking about buying it, but I don't know. It's so experimental, man. Right? I mean, I'm not
In
surprised.
a horrible time to do it, man, because you're looking at liquidity. NFTs are illiquid. You're giving people a more liquid option to dump it, right? And I just don't know. I mean, like, they got sniped at the beginning, and then they haven't seen any good traction since then. It's just been all like sell, 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 sell.
I mean,
So,
it's just we all know it's just conditions are just so important when you launch
yeah.
these things. So, I mean, for all we know, he might be launching into a good time. Maybe we bought him out in the next few weeks, and it consolidates here and it goes up. For all I know, I don't know. I think it's super experimental, and I don't really understand it. I haven't really read into it to really fully understand. Like the NFTs, like the people are burning for it, not burning or whatever, exchanging for it. Like what happened to it? Is it being sold?
Yeah,
they're
they
going in
burn
a
it.
pool.
Mhm.
So how does
So the
that
Utes are burned. The Utes are
Yeah.
burned. The DGODs are put in a 404 pool, which you can then take the token, the 550,000 tokens that you get when you put it into the pool. You can then take the 550,000 token anytime and re-exchange it back for a DGOD. So the NFTs, the DGODs kind of live on, but they're in this pool, and then it's kind of their market size. So, I was very, very bearish on it to start, but the whole idea of the token or the NFTs living on within the 404 kind of setup that they have, it's not terrible. It does provide additional liquidity. It's just, I don't know. I still, the way meme coins roll, etc. The meme of DGOD, etc. Like there's a lot of things that I don't think are catchy enough for it to move. And as Danksy brought up on our Monday session, like they missed the run. If they would have done this a couple months ago, a few months ago, maybe this really takes off. But like at this point, when meme coins are slowing right down, it's
I think I have like I have a similar like thing, and like I think Frank, like I respect that he like has a balls to be experimental and do this different stuff and doesn't really give a shit. I mean, I don't know like what people think, whatever, but yeah, I think it would have been it would have been cool if we would have done it like when meme coins were running like 6 months ago or whatever. It would have whatever, but I mean, again, for all we know, meme coin the market bottoms out in the next few weeks, and then he launched it at a perfect time. Whatever. That's not necessarily my base case, but I think this thing's so experimental.
he might, maybe the coin just catches a pump based off the entire market just doing well. I think there's a lot of risk to it. Especially the existing NFT collection and all that. But I don't know, man. Who knows what's going to happen?
Remember the first 404? It was like probably 4 or 5 months ago on Sol, I think.
What was the first one?
It was like some cat PFP, I think. Some cat PFP or something like that.
I remember. Yeah, it didn't really last more than a week though, but I like the
idea.
idea.
Yeah, it lasted like a week, if that.
The idea is cool. The problem is that there's no liquidity and the sentiment is just so bad that what would be seen as a catalyst, right? Because you're giving people liquidity, you are kind of like removing assets from your ecosystem, making the community a little bit more tight and etc. And then also allowing other members to get in the ecosystem by buying the token versus having to buy the NFT. So all those things are cool and positive. The problem is that the market is just not there. And so now when they actually had some sort of like good price action after they announced the Telegram thing, right? And then now they create this this kind of like liquidity event. It's kind of like a liquidity event, to be honest, and people are just like dumping it, right? So now it's back to where they were before.
I feel like it's going to act as like most airdrops do, where it's like people get so much money dropped on their head, especially people who have a shit ton of DGODs or the Utes or whatever.
Yeah.
That like it becomes, especially when it got to 80, 90 million, it becomes so much free money that people are eventually going to dump, and it's going to create sell pressure. But the ones that survive, Uniswap, or whatever, all these other ones that did eventually actually end up being successes, after that washout is when the best opportunity was going to be there. And again, I have no idea if this is what's going to happen for DGOD, but I just think it's too early to judge. What I would be looking for if it was going to bottom out here is 2+ weeks, probably even more, depending on what the whole rest of the market does, of a consolidation. Holding a certain low for multiple weeks or months before, and I would be kind of bullish on if it were to bottom out there. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
What happens with this like influx of liquidity though? It reminds me of a lot of Blur. And what I mean by that is when you have this accessibility to liquidity and you have people involved in the token that might not necessarily be invested in DGOD and DGOD success and are just speculating, you get this like spiral effect when things aren't going right, or if price is going down, right? And you get this like added sell pressure because of the added liquidity. So there's definitely a risk of that. That I think is what they're experiencing right now. But once this sell-off is done, then maybe it rallies back. So be an interesting case study to watch out.
Yeah, I was looking at a chart the other day that it said, well, there was kind of like, I think I posted it yesterday on our Vitriol Discord, that it was kind of like comparing, what an investor would, how two investors would perform. Like, let's say you buy in October and sell in April versus buying in May and selling in October. And the difference was like 60%, like over time, like really like buying in October, November timeframe and selling after kind of like April close. I think the return was closer to 40% versus minus 30% if you bought during after April and sold in October, right? So it goes to tell you that there's like big cyclicality in crypto, right? And whether it's like majors or meme coins, we've seen that on-chain activity has been reduced dramatically. I think, at some point, Pump.Fun was making about $1 million in revenue. I think it was around March, April, and even over the summer, they were closer to $1 million a day in revenue.
Crazy.
Whereas yesterday or over the last 24 hours, that number was 300,000. And there's less meme coins, right? Like at some point, I think they had like one day with 20,000 new coins.
I think people are just getting washed, man, and like money's just really, and that's why it's unfortunate. And that's why I stress to people so much. Like the number one thing is like just you got to survive this, and the less is more. It's so easy to lose money unless you're so good at like sniping and doing all this stuff. You're gonna lose money, and I feel like it's two things. People are literally just getting flushed out, and the money's moving up to these devs or the whales, whoever are doing the pump funds, and people are just getting tired and realizing what I'm saying, and not trading as much.
Yeah, and I think that that goes to tell you that we're almost at the same tipping point as we were last year at this time. I think Danksy and I were speaking. We started just recently started like our first Bitcoin DAO, and it's right around the time where people have lost interest, and so that's probably like marking a bottom here, right? So whether it's like in the next few weeks or mid October, I think we're getting to the point that you have to be, if you have some liquidity, you definitely have to be positioned where in place that or in tokens that you believe in, because otherwise you're gonna miss the train like we saw last year. It was crazy, that pump we had at the end of October, beginning of November, and then it
Yeah,
was nonstop until March, right? So you
yeah,
know when you see the least amount of interest in volume is probably when you should think about maybe buying some long-term kind of like conviction plays, right?
of
Because
course. Yeah, most bear
yeah,
markets, whether it be short term, whatever, end in apathy, like where nothing's
yeah,
going on. We got the rare one in COVID where like it ended in like a crazy like V spike down to that low, and like it was dramatic end. But again, most bear markets, people are just bored and not doing much.
yeah.
Uh,
So
and
so let's talk about that, right? Unless you guys want to discuss other topics, like if you could build a portfolio right now, I have some thoughts. If you could build a portfolio of like 5 to 10 tokens for the next, let's say October to April, right? What is that? 3, 4, 5, 6 months, right? Something like that. 6 to 7 months. If you could build a portfolio, what tokens would you have on it? I can do some. I think we should all here at least try to do at least 3 to 5, and see how they perform over the next 6 months. That would be fun to see. I know that you're gonna mention some gaming. I think you and I, Bren, have a similar one on gaming. But I also want to hear from Danksy and Rose if you have any kind of like alts that you guys trust or believe in the next 6 months.
Yeah, I can go first. I'd probably say if I was gonna construct the portfolio right now, I'd probably go probably like 50% Bitcoin, 50-60% Bitcoin, probably 30% Doge, and then like the rest in Ton. That's probably what I look at right now.
Thirty
he's serious
percent
too. I
though.
think he's
That's
serious.
probably what
Okay.
I'm. That's probably what I'm
Eh,
hitting right now.
Hey, so everyone that's listening, 300 people, this is not financial advice, okay? Oh my God, 30% though. It's okay. What's the other 20%? Danksy.
Ton.
Okay,
Let's
all
go.
right. That's a pretty small concentrated portfolio. How about you, Rhodes?
I'm probably going like 80% Bitcoin. Solana, probably making up a good another 10, 15%. And then other ones I'd be interested in: Binance, Sui, and possibly Ton as well. I think those are the other three that I would probably load on.
No meme coins on the 1-2% category.
I looked at meme coins and I made a thought on that. If I were placing a bet, again, I'm going to the upper end. I'm probably going with Mog on the meme coin side of things. To me, I think it's just got the strongest kind of group back and the most meme ability. And I just like where Mog is at. So that's probably the one I would look at. And I don't think there's really much else out there that I'm basically, if you're looking at it, you're trying to ride out this kind of chop, and that's why you want to kind of almost be in a bit of preservation mode
Yeah.
as we get through this next couple months and into the next quarter here.
Bren, how about you?
Yeah, so I actually made a 10 or 11-minute video on this yesterday, and like a post in the channel at Bossman Calls on Telegram. If you want like a detailed explanation on like how my portfolio is built up right now and how you can kind of build a portfolio for set yourself up for success during this next run. But right now I'm like 15% Sol, 15% ETH, about honestly like 20-25% concentrated bets, about 10 coins, 10 12 coins, meme coins, again these proven coins in the 20 to 100 million market cap range, and then about 10%, about 15% derivatives portfolio, about 10% in other alts, and then like 5% Bitcoin, and then like 5% just to play around in low cap stuff. As far as coins, what I would go for, as far as I'll just name like in a few different sectors. I'll go
Mhm.
with the same one as Rotes with the memes. You can't go wrong with Mog, obviously Pepe, some lower cap stuff, Mishi, really bullish on Harambe. I think that pound for pound is probably like, as far as meme coins go, probably the most undervalued. And then maybe some higher cap stuff. I'm not a huge XRP guy at all. Fundamentally, I think a lot of stable coins kind of already solved a lot of what they were trying to do back in the day. But I think as far as a trade goes, I think those and a lot of these older coins that haven't run yet from past cycles are going to run. Doge as well. I wouldn't go 30% like this crazy guy right here, but uh, I'm definitely bullish on Doge. I think it's very undervalued at this market cap. And, I know Elon made like a few obscure tweets, but that just goes to show conditions are everything. When he tweets into like a bullish environment, I think it's going to go crazy. And then, either way, I think it's due for probably a run to $1 eventually. And then I think you can't go wrong with those. And then, those few meme picks I named a second ago.
Yeah. No, I think that's a pretty good diversified portfolio without having too many tokens, right? Which I think it's
Yeah.
part of the mistakes that I made back in December 2023. Everything was doing so well. I was probably like in 6 different narratives, right? Whereas now I'm looking at my portfolio and I'm looking at probably like 3 to 4 narratives, right? 3 narratives that I want to be in for the cycle. So I kind of like piggybacking of you and Rhodes, Bitcoin and Solana, my biggest bags, combined around 60% probably. Mostly Solana, to be honest, just because Bitcoin, I have some options on the market on several miners or MicroStrategy, etc. So I have exposure that way. Solana, I really like anything that is being built, even though I know the inflation numbers don't look amazing on Solana, but I think that overall it's going to be the number one layer one. So that's my biggest bet on the majors. My Ethereum bag, for those that love Ethereum, has significantly gone down just because, again, I have a ton of NFTs and other things, and I just don't know if the token is going to perform as well, even though I know that Bren has other thesis and I want to hear it again. But yeah, Ethereum is very low right now. And then I want to be on 3 other narratives. AI, I want to have some exposure in case that we have another crazy run on Nvidia and other stocks. So I have a little bit of Arweave, which is kind of like AI plus DeepIn narrative, around 1.2 billion market cap, and they have 99% of the supply circulating, right? So it's one of those tokens that if they do well, there's no pretty much there's no other emissions here, so there's no inflation on the token. So it just comes down to either team delivers and there's some hot narrative on AI. I have Fed, which is actually the combination of the other three. I think it was Ocean, Fed, and another one that combined is about 3.5 billion market cap, and that includes AI agents and other cool stuff. So I want to be on AI. I don't know. You guys are looking at the charts. Are we? Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then I really just spoke with a guy that is building, and this is a project that we're working on B3L, that is building a project on RWA. And there seems to be more and more companies getting comfortable with blockchain, whether it's for data repository or for transparency towards investors, right? And operational data. And so I want to have a little bit of Ondo and Mantra DAO, OM. So OM and Ondo, just a bit of RWA, just in case we have some action on there, hopefully. And then on gaming, I have only one, which I think this is the one that we shared, Bren,
yeah,
Superverse. Yeah, Superverse, which I
yeah, yeah,
think
yeah.
it kind of like has the best mix of like tokenomics, team leadership, as well as what they're kind of like building with all the
Been
best
around for a
games.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I have that one. And then on the crazy side of things, which is about 10 to 12%, I have PopCat on Solana, which to me is the best, the better risk reward when it comes to large cap meme coins. I think even better than WIF. For some reason, I think cats are more powerful than dogs in this cycle. And then I have Mog on Ethereum, very little. I probably have to add it more.
Yeah, they got real quickly. They got Trump. Did you see the thing with Trump?
What
He
happened?
paid. No, no. That like, scared you or
They
something.
didn't
Sorry.
get Trump, did they?
Yeah, sorry. I should be very specific.
Well,
now.
he just got almost
No, they got
killed.
him to pay for a bit. I know. It's just sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, bro. They
Yeah,
got him
good.
to pay for Bitcoin at a bar or something with Bitcoin at a bar from his phone.
Oh, really?
I was just posted like 2 minutes ago. Yeah.
That's
So-
interesting.
So
sorry
you gotta
about
pay like $20 in transaction fees for it.
yeah, with Bitcoin, some guys like
Yeah, and that tip doesn't even go to the waiter; it just goes to the chain, to the validators, right? So, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. When you said they got them, I was like, okay, well, they almost tried to kill him on Sunday too, right? On the golf course. So I was like, oh
Did
my
I say they
god.
got him? I did not. Yeah, my bad. I didn't get to finish what I was gonna say. I said they got him to buy something with Bitcoin. My bad.
They got
Didn't
him.
mean to scare anybody. Yeah, that's crazy. What were you saying though, bro? I interrupted you about PopCat.
Popcat. Furloco was saying it was better than Whiff.
For Loco,
He
Cat
believes
for
in the
what?
cats. Yeah, he's scared about Trump now. He's gonna go make
Yeah,
sure
he's like
He's like
That's
my boy.
my bags.
My bad.
Might be. Yeah, I just stopped this stream dead in its tracks. My bad.
He's like, I gotta go save him.
Yeah, he's like, what? No. He's like, he fainted. He's like,
Dude, I don't know why you guys are hating on my Doge prediction,
I'm
bro.
not hating on it. I'm bullish, just as bullish as you. It's just
Dude, never underestimate the real normies. Dude.
All right, I'm
The
back.
people in crypto right now is probably like
don't
10
don't you think that cycle though is once we get through this, Bitcoin kind of dominant cycle and you push the alts and then you're into that part where Doge picks up. I mean, sure,
I think
it's
pick up right after. I think it's stage 2, like the alts. I think it's in the alts category. It's
Yeah.
a top 8 coin. It's top 10.
What are we
Yeah.
talking about, guys? Sorry, I
Doge.
was wrong.
what happened to you.
I don't know. I think they turned against me too, Bren.
That's what I'm saying. We thought you got scared.
they got for Loco.
Oh man. Yeah. What are you guys talking about? I missed
Doge.
2 minutes. Doge. Okay.
Doge.
Oh, Kaspa. Yeah, you're pulling up Kaspa. Actually, it's pretty interesting. I was hearing some news about it too. The token price action actually is pretty good, but just seen some people like mine Kaspa, including like Marathon, like bigger miners really getting into Kaspa. So
Yeah.
just curious about it. I know they have a pretty strong community, but I haven't added anything to my portfolio on Kaspa side of things.
Yeah, a lot of these kind of people who are buying these are people who are on YouTube and stuff who watch videos and stuff who are more of like not day traders like us who are more in and out of stuff sometimes, where they're like more accumulating for the bull run and stuff like that. I think that's why a lot of these coins are doing well right now.
Yeah.
They're different. Their holder base are like you said, the institutions that got in early, and then a lot of these people who are buying these coins like to hopefully capitalize during the next bull run.
Yeah. Here's a couple of other tokens I'm gonna mention, right? Because what happened to Base, right? Like people are like, Base is always, well, it's always going to be backed by Coinbase, right? So if we have to think about a chain that will have, some sort of like adoption, whether it's institutional or not, Base has to be it, right? So even if we don't believe in the meme coins, right? Because Bread to me is the number one, but I'm not sure about that token. I know there's a bunch of people involved and insiders, etc. But I was thinking about Aerodrome, which is the number one kind of like Dex DeFi play on Base. It's down bad, and if there's any activity on chain, it's gonna go through Aero. Anyone has any thoughts on this token? It
I
hit
saw
like,
somebody talk about this
yeah.
today. Exactly, like a short explanation of what exactly it is. Like the
Yeah,
protocol.
so
whatever.
It's like the JLP or the Jupiter or the radium of base,
Oh,
right? Like
really?
it's just right. So if base activity picks up like it did in March, April, this token was at 1.1 billion at some point, right? Like what was the market cap? It reached 1.2. What was it?
Something like that. Yeah.
Right.
I'm not sure how to
So
see your recap on this, but I mean, like, what's stopping like Uniswap from coming in and
Uniswap is on base. That's what I always use when I swap on base.
the
yeah,
problem with base for me is that like, where do you accrue value? Like, is it Ethereum?
Yeah, it pays fees back to the chain. That's what the common misconception is, that it's like going to suck liquidity or whatever away from the L1, but it pays fees back to the L1. So ultimately,
So it is Ethereum. So you're bullish. It's a bullish Ethereum play.
and right now there's a lot of things that have to happen for a lot of these L2s, from my understanding, to fully get to that vision. They have to fully decentralize and the validators and stuff like that. But ultimately, if everything if in a perfect world, an L2 of everything's decentralized and everything, they pay fees back to the L1, so it's not like taking away from the actual whatever. And that's a real rudimentary, like non-tech explanation of that, techie version of that.
yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. It's just it's one of those things that I mean, look, there's so many chains, but you have to make a bet, and normally when you make these bets is when it looks the ugliest, right? So
I think
yeah,
for me, like really quickly on Coinbase, it's like, or base, it all comes down to, like I said earlier, I think in this stream, that it's all about the operator behind the project long term. I learned this from Gary Vee like a while back, that like it's like long term. In the short term, something can pump off of a quick, endorsement, whatever. But like long term, it's all about the operators behind the project and what they're gonna do. And in NFTs, crypto, meme coins, whatever. And I think Base has just proven that they're like just top. They're just the best company. They build partnerships. They're relevant. They're a public company. All the resources in the world. So like, I'm bullish on Base, the chain, for that reason. And then a lot of these, just because volume's going to be on there, I think a lot of these different memes and other stuff on there will accrue value over time.
yeah. Real quick, Bren, did you ever buy? Because I have two. Did you ever buy the Solana phone, the number
Nah,
one?
no, I never did.
70
A lot of my
million.
friends did around that
70
time.
million.
Yeah, dude. So the number, the Solana two, right? The Saga phone two, they received 70 million in pre-orders. That's
Yeah.
insane.
70
So
million people ordered.
Is there any
no, 7
airdrop in that
million.
or
Not
no?
people, but like units that they
No, $7
ordered.
million. You know,
Oh, million that they made off of
yeah,
it.
yeah, in orders. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Um,
How much was the phone? Like $300 or something?
400 $450 I paid, but the thing is that I literally instantly got paid back with Bonk and a bunch of other
Yeah.
airdrops.
Did you
Right.
sell it
So
or just hold it or
yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah. I sold all my Bonk.
Nice.
Yeah, I sold it all above, I think it was a 1 or 2 billion market cap. Literally
That's-
paid back my phone, and then I got a bunch of airdrops. I a bunch of airdrops in that December, January, February kind of like timeline.
Nice.
I literally, yeah, that was, I mean, now I'm not using it, which is the the sad part. Like I have a plan that is at $5 a month
That's
with
what I was gonna say. Do you ever connect it? So like you have data on there and shit?
yeah, I have Helium $5
Okay.
a month.
I was
And
gonna
yeah,
say helium's another coin to watch as well.
yeah, yeah, they're really getting a lot of traction.
They're getting some momentum right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, but I really have two phones here, kind of like collecting dust. But I don't know. Maybe at some point I would use them. To be honest, the phone is super cool. Like literally, it's like you unlock it with your fingerprint on the back.
Really?
For wallets, yeah, it's seamless. It's faster than my iPhone. If
And has
if
you have like Phantom on there and it's like really
yeah, so
that's
I
crazy.
have it here behind me. I can do like a thing later on, but it has a fairly good camera system. They have their own app store,
It's
which is
Android, right?
it's Android. Yeah, 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 and it's slightly heavier or pretty much the same weight as my as an iPhone 15 or whatever. But it's, I don't know. if more people used it, I was kind of like wondering if I could kind of like use it more on a daily basis, but I don't know. It's just one of those things. You have it there, you don't use it, but it's actually a pretty cool phone and it works well. So hopefully we have more Solana airdrops coming up. So more airdrops coming up.
Yeah, I'm sure they will during the bull market. Maybe some
Yeah.
NFT stuff or something. So,
So
I mean, I want to ask Rotes, like, if you had to guess, like, your base case over the next like few years, like existing NFTs, apes. I'm sure, like, you're probably into apes, like these guys too. Like back when it was, maybe you're more biased towards them, but like, the existing NFT, like PFPs, like the top ones, over the next couple of years, do you think they like have another sustainable bull run, or like, what's your kind of thoughts on that? To Rotes, yeah.
Yeah, there's been some discussion that like we're starting to see some of the early kind of moves of 2020, 2021 already coming through this fall.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do find it hard to imagine we get anywhere near where we were in the past.
Yeah.
But I do still think there is going to be a strong, sustainable market for NFTs, and that we can see prices in the appreciation level of maybe double what they're at currently. And accept that as kind of a really good bull run, right?
For sure.
And overall, I think certainly the collections that have built and developed and have maintained a strong community and a narrative and at least a vision of where they're going, there's no reason why they can't continue to do that, right? It's this ultimate form of collectible and kind of ownership level that I think is going to continue to progress, right? It's just like digital fandom or digital community and all that kind of aspects to it that I think these will continue to run. And the fact that we've bottomed out and made this kind of move upward is such a strong confirmation that we're finding some new traction on NFTs overall.
Cool. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, especially if like ETH were to go up like to $10,000 or whatever over the next 3 or 4 years, like it wouldn't have to be what were apes at the top, like 100 something ETH. Like they only have to be that high for it to be them to be worth a lot in USD. Anyway, that plays into it, but that's an interesting take. Yeah, no, I agree too. I'm not a huge NFT guy, but I do think digital communities and then just having digital assets in general are just going to continue to be more popular. But I mean, that'd be interesting to see how crazy it gets. I mean, I think it's possible that we get as crazy as we did back in 2021, but maybe it won't be concentrated in PFP NFTs like the existing ones. It might be in gaming or something that has actual like people spending money on it, other than just to like make a profit and to flip and all that. But thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
did you end up buying a Suki, Bren, or you're
No,
still?
not yet. Yeah. Still kind of deciding what I'm gonna do, but have they gone up the last day? You said they're up a bit, right?
Well,
They're
they
up
had a
about
bunch of news. I think
7% again here today.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are they at
Yeah.
now? Like it was like 8 or 9.
No, I think what are they in this? The 6.
Okay. Yeah, they were like 7 the other day when I was looking at it. I was like deciding because again, I really want to get into the whole learn as much as I can about crypto gaming and stuff like that. I think that's gonna be
5.6, is it?
5.6.
Yeah, 5.6,
Okay. I'm Magic Eden, yeah. Okay.
I mean, the art
Yeah.
is top notch. It just comes down to the kind of traction they get on this anime thing, which it looks pretty cool. I mean, they got that anime.com kind of like domain, which is, I don't know how much they paid for that. But
They haven't done any token distribution yet either, right? And then there's anime
Yeah.
coin, and there's been talks of that way back. Like to me, now that Doodles has kind of passed through its significant phase here, Azuki is the one that I'm looking at the most and saying, okay, what can they do and deliver? My only concern with Azuki over the past is that they've had these periods of quiet and nothingness, and then they do something amazing and kind of shock you. But there's so much potential with Azuki. They just got to avoid the missteps that they have made, right? So, the Elementals was a terrible misstep. But overall, I think there's a lot that Azuki can do to continue to grow the IP and play into the anime and then, adapt into that community and that fandom of anime lovers, right? So there's so much that they can build off of just by focusing into that degree of niche market that is still a massive market, right?
Yeah. They
Honestly,
have a healthy trust rate too.
I think the idea, the anime.com idea is so sick though. Just like people being able to have ownership in the shows and all that, like whether they are the one who does it or whoever, it's just the future, I think. And I think that's things that like people like Gary Vee and people see that like it is the future where like people, it will be like that. And like, it's not going to be a way where you're going to be able to make like 100K off of the NFT, but it's just be a way for people to support whatever show or whatever they're watching and have like a digital collectible or whatever. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Gary Vee, you guys have seen that Fly Fish Club settled like I think it was a 1.2, 1.3 million lawsuit with the SEC or something like that.
Who did? Oh, the blue. Oh, yeah.
His project that was supposed to build a restaurant in New York, a sushi restaurant.
Was it his? Was he like a co-owner, like a co-founder?
He was a co-owner. Yeah.
I remember he like promoted it.
The
securities thing.
Dude, some of these things were selling for like 10 ETH back in the day. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
So it's like a securities thing that they broke?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And they settle. But I don't know, man. I think Gary Vee has, I follow him on Instagram and on LinkedIn as well. He hasn't been talking much about NFTs lately. So I know you were quoting him, but the guy is gone.
I mean, if you look at what he said, if like I think the best interview or whatever he's given about NFTs was that one he did with the Nelk Boys, the Full Send podcast. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he called it. I mean, he said, in the next however many months, there's going to be where the market just completely collapses. 99% of shit's going to go to zero. There's going to be a long period where nothing happens, and then there's going to be when the projects that he sees are still building during that time, he's going to start investing in, and certain projects are going to come out of the ashes. So I mean, he's been spot on. And if you look at his Twitter, he actually, and again, I'm not trying to be a Gary Vee pretty good fanboy here, but if you look at his Twitter, he has been talking nonstop about VeeFriends this entire time. So just because he's not hyping up the NFT market in general,
he's doing so much on the VeeFriend side of things to expand the collectability.
Sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, if you look, it's just, I don't know. He's definitely not perfect. Nobody is, but I wouldn't bet against him. I remember 6 years ago, he was saying TikTok is going to be the biggest app in the world. And
it is.
I thought it was crazy. Now it is. So I don't know. And about a million other things too. So
it's tough because most people that own NFTs expect founders to be 24/7 reporting, right? And it just comes down to, if you're really delivering a product like it's going to have mainstream adoption, you can't be like, I know the thing that they say, like Lucanex does with Pudgy Penguins, building in public, but the expectations are very high for founders to be communicating on pretty much on a daily basis and being active on Twitter, right? Which is not possible. And so you're seeing, like, even at Suki, they're actually pretty quiet on when it comes to communication, and only bring up like very good, like high quality updates versus just like communicating every day, which I think is better. But NFT degens don't like that. Danksy, do we want to reset the room quickly? We just crossed 250 listeners today. So let's do a quick intro of B3L and Bren in his Telegram. So that.
Yeah, for sure. So we do the space every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. We have Brent here from Brent Trades. He runs a pretty sizable Telegram group with Bossman, posting macro stuff, meme coins. Bossman's kind of on the meme coin side. We still got to get him on the space, but we do this every week. The three of us, me, Foloco, Rotes, are from Virtually Labs. Post a lot of alpha, meme coins, macro, stocks, equities, NFTs, all on our Discord and Telegram as well. We try to do spaces pretty frequently on the week, and then post our alpha internally on the chat. So I've posted the links on the X in the comments from the space. Make sure to follow us and and join our communities if you have a chance. So we'll be doing this every week for the foreseeable future.
Hell yeah.
Great. Do we have any comments on the StreamYard or YouTube or anything or
On
no?
the chat on Twitter, no, there's only a few, no questions or anything. But did
Yeah,
you
they're
do
just
some?
like, what did I miss? Any alpha? And we're like, you missed it. It's gone.
Well, last 10 minutes is always DGen section, so we can talk about meme coins. We can talk about Polymarket. What do you guys want to chat about? Because I haven't really been very active on Polymarket, to be honest.
Me neither. I haven't really been checking. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I got out of that trade. Luckily, didn't do the 25 basis points. I kind of took most of my money out of Polymarket a few weeks ago. And then I was on the thread guy was going to interview Trump. No, for a while, it got like 8 or 9%. Got 8 or 9% on that. Luckily, exited that. Those two or both would have lost. So that was crazy.
He paid 25 grand, no, to actually interview him. Oh, actually have a
That's
dinner.
it.
Right?
That's it for Trump. That's easy.
Wait, so does anybody? I don't know. I think me and Danks, you were talking about this, and we thought that Polymarket, the way it works, is like they have unknown people pick the bets, right, or like establish the bets.
Let me see.
How does that work? Like, I want to know. Like, does anybody know how that works exactly?
It's I think it's on the Discord. You can like ask them to make a bet.
That's crazy. So like somebody like, yeah, that's insane. I wonder how that works. So like, I don't
You just
know.
like
That's
request the team to
unlikely to
build
me,
one.
but obviously like somebody like I don't know, probably in the know was like suggested the bet. But wait, so how did it work? He's paying. It's like a thing. Or what?
Yeah, I think he bought some sort of like his collection thing. I mean, Rhodes maybe knows better than I
Okay.
do.
That's part of the
He spent like $25,000 on his latest NFT drop, which was supposed to be a dinner with Trump, but then it was tickets for a dinner with Trump.
Yeah.
And then I haven't seen the latest bit where is he now actually going to be able to interview Trump, or is he just now getting the dinner with Trump?
I think it's a dinner. I think that's the
Okay,
dinner.
so that's still not
yeah.
an interview. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to ask him one question though. There has to be an exchange.
At least one question asked by thread guy.
Yeah. And he has to answer it. Like, there has to be
on video, in person, on video. So
I'm sure that'll happen.
within like
he's
12
going to the
days,
dinner.
though. We'll see.
Oh, within 12 days. When is it?
Imagine Trump just. I love thread guy, but imagine Trump just like ignores him. He's just like.
Who knows?
Well, I don't think he would. I don't know how the setting is going to be for dinner, but after having the interview with Farag, I mean, he called him like a promising young guy or something like that. I don't know. You know,
I'm sure, yeah.
I think he's trying to get.
Yeah, he has friends that'll get him close to him. I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's really trying to get the crypto bros to vote for him.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. What you mentioned, Bren. He bought something like he purchased something on a bar, no, with Bitcoin. I was like wondering, like,
Yeah.
what are we using Bitcoin to purchase items? That's like not really the the purpose of it, but I guess it is.
Right? For some people who are like all like Bitcoin lifestyle, like everything, I guess.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I haven't looked much at Polymarket. I know that the odds of the presidency seem to be still Kamala a little bit slightly up, 51% versus 47%. And on the popular vote, she's also leading by quite a lot, which I think was expected. So I have no bets there. Maybe as it gets closer to the actual election, I probably put in some degen money, but for now, I don't see anything interesting happening or any interesting bets. Are you guys betting anything?
Do you think Polymarket's going to do a token?
I don't know. Who knows?
I was thinking, why would they do it though? They don't need it, right?
They don't even make money. How do they make money?
They're not
they
making money right
fees.
Yeah, and it would make sense if they had their own kind of L2 or L3 or whatever to kind of process transactions. Especially if maybe like an ETH L2 or something. But yeah, for me, I think it would be to monetize because there's no fees right now on it, right? That's the whole thing.
No.
Do they have ads or anything or not?
Doesn't look like.
I don't know. I have ad blocker on everything.
Yeah.
I wonder. They either have to add fees or monetize through some kind of token or.
Oh, they probably sell their data to news and other websites.
Yeah, I would
But then
imagine
you can just
something.
pull it anyways. I feel like there's like, I mean, you still have to sell it though. I feel like.
Yeah, but the moment they start charging fees, then they're gonna be blocked. I think they're already blocked in the U.S., right? Are they geo
Yeah.
blocked in the U.S.? Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're gonna need a ton of licenses. The moment they start charging fees and stuff, they're gonna operate like an actual online casino slash gamble.
Rhodes, do you mess around with
Platform.
Polymarket at all or no?
Danks and I have weekly discussions on it. I have
Okay.
had my interests, et cetera, on Polymarket. I haven't made any significant plays on Polymarket, however. Some of the NFL ones I think are really interesting.
That's right.
I was heavy on the 25 basis points.
Same.
Obviously that didn't play out the way I honestly thought it would. And then I think there's some interesting ones with the popular vote as well, which is pretty good. But no, the NFL one to me is a really interesting kind of case study where you can pick the teams that you want or think can win the Super Bowl, and then you have the ability to cash out, so to speak, as the season goes on. So as quality teams continue to perform, then you would suspect that their odds would go up, and then you can kind of trade that momentum from them, even up into the playoffs. So like the Chiefs are crazy obvious. And there's a few other teams that are quite interesting. Actually, I think the Saints, to me, honestly, are probably one that might continue to gain traction. It's hard to say if they're for real yet, but they've definitely looked so much better this year. And then some of the other top teams
killing people like this year. They're like destroying people.
Yeah, they are. They almost set a record for consecutive games of 46 more points.
Yeah, that's
in a game. So
now, if you had to guess, token or no token in the next couple of years in Polymarket?
I think no token.
I'm asking, yeah, Rhodes, what do you think?
when you brought it up, I definitely thought that I could see it happening.
Yeah.
Some of these platforms take a long time for tokens to kind of materialize, but tokens provide a really good way for them to capture some liquidity and value off of everything they've done, right? And so I don't see why they couldn't do a token.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a pretty good review and overview of the market, guys. I think this week or so we're just gonna be waiting on. Let's see what happens on the macro side of things, and then obviously the big conference is happening right now in Asia, and hopefully we have some good news and momentum. But I think in the majors and certain tokens that I've been already eyeing for the last few months, I'm gonna be adding slowly, and hopefully, as Bren said, hopefully things are either like at least short term within the next 3 to 4 months are bullish, and we'll see what happens in 2025. That's definitely a big unknown, at least from my perspective. But
Yup. Yep, exactly. Yep. It's the name of the game is just surviving right now. Don't blow all your money. Because again, market's in hard mode right now. It's a lot easier. Definitely, don't completely check out, but at the same time, you got to survive this time, and so you can be around when times are good. So that's what I'd focus on for the most part. But it was another good stream, guys.
yes, sir.
Awesome.
Appreciate you guys.
Let's run it back next week.
Yeah, next week, same time. I posted all the links in the comment section of this post. Feel free to reach out to Bren and the Virtually Labs team, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday next week for sure.
Yes, sir.
Sounds
Appreciate
good.
you guys.
Cheers, guys.
Have a great rest
Take
of
it
your
easy.
day.
Cheers.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Bye.